I was on 6 West, and I would do all my laps on the 6th floor. They'd all figured out that I was a patient, but you guys might never figure that out. In June of this last year, I had an aortic aneurysm and a bicuspid aortic valve and had to get it surgically repaired, so I had open heart surgery. I was in the hospital for 6 days. And it was my first time ever being in the hospital. I've been a nurse for 10 years, almost. Never been a patient, ever. And it was like awesome, right? Who's gonna say that getting heart surgery is awesome? But for me, it was like, I came out of there like so pumped. I'm like, I learned so much by being a patient. It's gonna change how I work as a nurse and how I work with my teammates and just think about everything. And so I had gotten out of the hospital and I wrote like a 10-page single-spaced letter to a couple CNSs and managers that I knew. And it was like, hey, check this out. Like, I just got out of the hospital and this is what I feel like. And they had read it, and I think I was embarrassed immediately after hitting send. But like slowly, like some feedback came back, like, this is really good stuff. And then like Pam Wells emails me a little bit later, like, I love your letter that you wrote. And I'm like, wow, it's really weird. And then Tracy invited me, Tracy, the manager of 6 North, said, will you come talk to my team about the letter that you wrote? And I said, sure. So I did that for a couple of her retreats. And then probably Liz got word of it and said, will you come talk to my team? And then I talked to the new grads, and so I'm going to be the traveling roadshow. What the patient experience is like on here at Memorial, on a PCU, not acute care floor, but maybe relating some of those experiences that I had to how you guys take care of your patients, and maybe just giving you a little bit different perspective on things. So, overwhelmingly, the thing that I came out of the hospital with was like, just a respect for going to the bathroom. Like going to the bathroom to me when I was in the hospital was like, it ruled my life until I could walk on my own and I was cleared by PT. And just to give you an example, like I had a Foley in for 2 days, so I didn't think about it too much. How many of you guys, what percentage of you guys patients have Foleys in, you think? Like low or high? Low? Okay. So when they pulled that Foley out and I had to pee for the first time, it was awesome. I was like, oh my God, I peed, it was great. It felt really amazing. It was like this huge milestone in my mind. But then I hadn't been cleared by PT to get up yet, so how do I go pee? And the answer was real simple. I had a urinal and I went pee, and that wasn't an issue until it was an issue. So the one story that really just was like defined this whole thing is I remember sitting there in the bed, kind of in a reclined position like this, and I'm staring at a urinal right there hanging on the door, the bathroom door handle. You know, the urinal's staring there. I'm like, oh man, I gotta pee. I'm like, what? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, I gotta pee. I'll wait, the nurse will come soon, or I'll give her a call. And then I'm like, oh crap, they gave me Lasix like 20 minutes ago. That's why I gotta pee. I never had Lasix. And if you guys ever heard the expression pee like a racehorse, that comes from, they inject Lasix into racehorses so that they pee a bunch before they go race so that they run faster, because they lose all that bladder weight. So that's the pee like a racehorse actually comes from that. So I'm sitting there, and this is, I think it was my first or second time having Lasix without the catheter in, so I had no idea how much, like, how quickly this urgency would come. So I'm sitting there and I call, I'm like, yeah, can you send someone in? I go to the bathroom. And at this point, it's important to note, like, I have no idea how long it took. It could have taken 2 minutes, it could have taken 5. It felt like 10 hours at that time, because like the compounded nature of having to pee and like, oh my God, I really gotta pee now, and oh my God, I'm gonna explode, and I'm staring at the urinal right there. So I want you to realize here, I'm a nurse, I'm pretty smart, I know about fall risks in theory, and I have 2 chest tubes in, and I have an H&H of like 6, and I'm connected to an IV via central line, and I got both bed rails up, and I'm on a bed alarm. And I am starting to think about like, oh my, I'm getting out of this bed right now. Like, I need to pee that bad that against all my better judgment, I'm getting out of the bed. So I'm creeping over the thing. I pull the handle over. Okay, I'm good. I'm getting my legs to the side, and I'm sitting there on the edge of the bed like this. And I'm looking to where my chest tubes are going in, and I'm looking into the wall, and I'm trying to calculate, is there going to be enough distance? Now, I'm probably not thinking of the fact, if those chest tubes fall out, like, the pain is going to be way worse than anything I'm dealing with right now going pee. But my lizard brain portion, my mentality has to go pee so bad that I'm like plotting this out. And it's important to note as well, I'm not on any narcotics at this time. I'm like, in theory, I have all my faculties about me, but I'm ready to go for it. So I'm getting up like this, and the one thing that prevented me from really like all the way getting there is they kind of put the bed in reverse Trendelenburg with the knee gatch up, and I didn't have the core strength to like overcome that. So I had all this stuff, but I couldn't quite get to the edge of the bed, and I'm starting to rock, and I'm starting to rock, and then the aid comes in. She grabbed me my urinal, I filled it up. She grabbed me another one, I filled it up too. I had to really go pee. But that's just crazy, because I'm just like, in theory, I should know better. Like, I teach my patients all the time, call for help, wait, call again, and I'm sitting there and I gotta pee so bad. Like, so this thing came over me when I was there. I'm like, man, going pee is really important. Like, I feel like a patient will tell me I need to go pee, and I'm like, well, I'm medicating so-and-so, I'm doing this, then I'll help them pee. Or I'll call my aide and they can do it. And then the aide might be like, yeah, I'll help them pee, but I'm doing this first. And I think from that experience, it's like, we need to prioritize going pee a lot more, especially if we're given Lasix. Like, I think in my nursing education, pain was higher. Like, if I was walking a thing with 2 Norcos about to give pain medicine, and someone said I gotta go to pee, I'm like, I'm gonna go give the Norco first, then I'll take the pee. And now after this experience, I'm like, I am gonna go take the patient pee first, safely put the Norco somewhere, keep it with me, put a label on it, then I'm gonna go give the Norco. And so that's story 1. Story number 2 is kind of the same. It's about Lasix. It's just because you took a patient pee 5 minutes ago doesn't mean they don't need to go pee again, especially on Lasix. Because that happened and I filled up the 2 things, and then like 10 minutes later I'm like, oh my God, I need more thing, and they were again put on the wall. So for males and for females, take those urinals, put them on the bed rails. Always put 2 if you're giving Lasix, and try to you know, because if the urinal was on my bed rail, I could have negotiated myself and never even had to get out of bed. It would have been awesome. So the next story is about poop, because this is really, I'm just getting down with poop body, but it's really similar. And so you guys have had constipated patients. I know you like load them up on. Try the milk and magnesia, it doesn't work. We'll try some lactulose, it doesn't work. Try some sorbitol or the hot prune juice or whatever, Dolcusate, Colace, all that sort of stuff. And so we're 3 days later, and I've been in the hospital now 4 or 5 days. Still haven't pooped. I need to poop. I'm not eating because I'm hungry, and I'm like feel like I'm hungry, but my belly's like this, and I'm not eating a thing. And so, oh God, I gotta poop. Like let's make this happen. So at this point, it's a little better because I'm cleared by PT. So I still never forget this morning. Melissa Yeager, my CNS, was coming to visit me. We're hanging out. It's like 6:30. I'm sipping my decaf coffee because they wouldn't give me caffeinated coffee because they were scared my heart was gonna blow up. So I had the decaf coffee and some pancakes, and I had Sorbitol like an hour before that. And the nurse was like, the Sorbitol will definitely get you to go. I said, great. So I'm sitting there and talking to Melissa, and we're talking about whatever. I'm like, yeah, Sorbitol's pretty good. And the hospital's fun. Look at my room. Look how nice it is. And then all of a sudden, like the bottom like dropped out of my stomach, like, and my sphincter control like just disappeared. And I'm like, oh God, I gotta poop. And I'm like, excuse me, Melissa. And so she's like, do you need help? I'm like, no, it's cool. I go. So I go in, handle my business, wash my hands, come back, sit down. Oh, gotta go again. Go again. Melissa, so like the 5th time, Melissa's like, do you want me to go? And I'm like, I guess so. But the thing is, like, it literally took me 5 times, 6 times to get it all out after not going for 5 days, which I feel like is another thing. I was like, no wonder I take a patient to the bathroom after I gave them that lactulose, and they call back 5 minutes later and they need to go. They actually need to go again. And for me, it was really easy. I'm independent. I was already cleared by PT. I could walk on my own. But think about all your patients that need help to go to the bathroom, that are bedbound or they're on a bedpan. And I know, because I've been there, where you're like, you get a call, like, Sarah, I'm going to pick on you because you're the clerk, but you'll be like, hey, 46 just called and they need to go to the bathroom. You're like, I just walked out of 46 taking the bathroom. There's no way they need to go again. And you kind of roll your eyes and get pissed and you go do something else. And then they'll call Sarah again, and Sarah will be like, hey, 46 called again. They really need to go to the bathroom. And guess what? They probably need to go to the bathroom again. And it really sucks for that patient because it's super uncomfortable when all that medicine hits you at once and you got to go like you've never had to go in your life. And this happens in this foreign environment, and it's embarrassing and it's awkward. And believe me, I didn't really want to call for help to go to the bathroom to go pee that time with the Lasix, but I had to. And with the poop thing, had I have been a non-ambulatory patient or still hooked up on chest tubes and had IVs running, I would have had to call. And the nurse would have hated me because like, that patient, he just went to the bathroom 5 times in 30 minutes. Like, he takes up all my time. Like, and they were rating me higher acuity and all this stuff. But it wasn't like me doing this to them or being like a pain in the butt. Like, and I feel like this is a story that I told myself. Like, why didn't that patient go to the bathroom, like finish going to the bathroom last time? Why do they need to go again? And we want to kind of like offset that as like, oh, like that patient's being a pain. And this experience really made me like, that has nothing to do with the patient being a pain. It has to do with the medicines and the situation and the fact they haven't pooped for 5 days and all hit them at once. And it happened to be you drew that unlucky card and they're your patient that day. You you and the aide and whoever else is involved taking care of the resource nurse, and you're all going to take you to the bathroom twice in an hour, and you're going to hate it. But then in theory, it should be over, right? So that whole thing just really changed my opinion of just going to the bathroom in general. I felt like we just prioritize it too low, and it's really like the most animal need, basic need you have. Like if you get to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like going to the bathroom is more important than pain. Pain is like a secondary or tertiary need on that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. People can live in pain for years and be fine. They cannot live without going to the bathroom. They cannot live without eating. So that was just completely mind-bending to me. And apparently it was mind-bending enough to a couple other people that decided to share it with you. So I'm sharing that with you guys as well. So the other thing that really was different for me and was the whole experience of pain and anesthesia and how that worked. Now you guys don't have a ton of surgical patients, but you guys get patients back from surgery and who have been under anesthesia or conscious sedation or something like that. And I don't think I appreciated how out of it you are when you get back from a procedure like that. Despite the fact you might be a learner-oriented ×4 and answer all the questions, you literally have no idea what's going on. And you don't know that you have no idea what's going on until like a day later. So I can think of like 6 different times like I thought I awoke from anesthesia. I'm like, oh, I'm back, I'm normal now. And then the next day, like I awoke again and everything that happened the day before disappeared. I can think of like the best example is I answered my API, answered all the questions perfectly, right? And the next day, my dad's like, why did you decline the flu shot and decline the pneumonia shot? Like, you're super high risk for pneumonia. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, well, they came in, they asked you all those questions yesterday. I'm like, they didn't ask me any of those questions yet. And so I completed my whole API, appeared and assessed Alert 9 ×4, have no recollection of ever doing it. The next day after that, I went on a walk with Belinda, the CNS on 6 West. We took a walk all around the floor, or 2 days later, took a walk all around the floor for like 5 minutes. I told her all my experiences. The next day, she came to go take me for a walk again. I repeated the exact same story. Had no idea. No idea that I had told her all that stuff the day before. And she's like, Dan, you told me this all yesterday. Do you remember that? I said, no, I don't remember at all. And again, I'm not on, I may have had a little bit of opiates, but that was like in the first 24 hours. The rest, my pain control is Toradol, acetaminophen. The only new meds to me were Metropol and Coumadin. Everything else, like I wasn't heavily medicated, but the effects of the anesthesia were such that I literally was like having this rolling blackout that would reset. It was like Groundhog Day. You guys seen that movie with Bill Murray? Every day I'd wake up and I think it was a new day. Or no, it was like the other way around. It was like reverse Groundhog Day. I wake up and think it was a new day. Everyone else realized the day went by, and I was the one that kind of felt left out. And it took me really almost until the very last day of being in the hospital, which was day 5 or 6, to really feel like I was actually myself. And then I went home and I went through that process like 4 more times. And so I liken it to like you're in an onion, and every time you peel back a layer of the onion, you realize that how much you're not seeing, and how much you're not seeing, and how much you're not seeing. And again, it was just mind-bending because we're all surgical on our floor, and I'm like, I treat these patients like they're awake, alert, and oriented, and they're interacting with me like they are. But if their experience is anything like mine, they are not fully there, not fully cognizant. So I think this is really important when you're doing teaching. You know, if someone comes up as a fresh post-op, they had this or that, and you're doing teaching, you might have to teach them again the next day. And you might have to teach them again the next day after that. And it's not that they're being resistant to learning or that they're denying the teaching you're giving them. It's like they might be forgetting, especially if you start throwing other medication classes in there, which I wasn't even receiving. And so that really kind of just changed my outlook on interacting with the patient and educating them, like, especially when it comes time for discharge education stuff. And you wonder, like, I just went over with all this stuff with this patient yesterday. They have really bad retention. It's like, yeah, they probably do have really bad retention right now, but it's more the situation rather than the patients themselves. I only have a couple minutes left, but those are like the 2 biggest things, the pottying thing and the just waking up out of anesthesia and how that was. But the other things that really stuck out to me is like how amazing it felt to get a shower and to get a bed bath one is amazing. Like it was really uncomfortable to be bathed by someone else. But the first time I was clear to get a shower and someone let me take a shower, it was literally like the best day of my life all over again. Like nothing felt that good. And taking the leads off and like scrubbing, those leads itch like crazy and when they're on you for telly. And you scrub all the spots off and get rid of all the stickum. You take a shower and you sat in the sun and felt like I didn't really actually feel like a human again until I had that shower. And then I'm like, oh, I'm a person again. Like until then, it just kind of felt like my body and me were separated and like independent entities somehow coexisting in the same sphere, but not really the same. When I took that shower, it like brought everything back. So it's like really, that little thing, like a shower, meant such a difference to me as a patient. And then the other thing is really about pain control. I mentioned a couple times I didn't really have to take a lot of opiates. I was very fortunate because of that. But I really, really utilized the anti-inflammatories as much as I could. Like, they're like, hey, just try this Percocet. And I tried Percocet. I'm like, oh God, I'm going to vomit. This is awful. And then Zofran, Phenergan, couldn't fix it at all. Let's skip the Percocet. What else can we do? Let's try Tramadol. That didn't work either. Let's try Norco. That didn't work either. Okay. Can we just do Toradol and Tylenol IV? So the nurses were like, I guess, if that's what you want. So I begged to keep my IV Tylenol for an extra couple of days because IV Tylenol is amazing. Do not, like, PO Tylenol is fine. IV Tylenol, like literally you hang that little glass bottle of IV Tylenol, the bottle's not even finished and you already feel better. Like immediately, instantaneously better. It's crazy. Toradol is the same way. They're worried about your kidney functions and stuff, and you guys have a lot of kidney issues on your floor, so you might not be giving as much Toradol. But when you have patients who aren't working with the regular pain thing, Toradol is like, it's the jam. IV push Toradol, it's not like it doesn't get you high, doesn't make you feel stupid, but your pain disappears. It's that inflammation and that discomfort, it really just makes it disappear. So I really makes me think about that all differently. So now when I sit down and talk about patients who are having difficult pain issues, I can say like, hey, have we tried IV Toradol? Have we tried IV Tylenol? Bring that up, and I can relate kind of my experiences with them to help them be more open to trying it. And I think you guys use those medicines a lot for pain control. So now it's like, that's my first thing I'm asking a doctor if we're having a difficult control patient is, can we get that stuff on board? And I would just want to share that with you guys. Like, this stuff works really good. Sometimes the answer is not more narcotics, but more of that. So we talked about that. I have a couple minutes left. Do you guys have any questions? Is that interesting or helpful at all? Are you excited to be patients? You don't really want to be a patient in the hospital if you don't have to, but it came to me at a time in my life, being a patient and in my nursing career, that it actually made me really refreshed. I was joking with someone before I left that I wasn't going to come back because I didn't really want to be a nurse anymore. I didn't want to be a lead. It was a joke. It was a partial joke. But there was an element of truth to it. And then when I came back, I was like, oh, I love my job. Like, this is great. Like, I get to help people through this difficult time. And now that I've actually been a patient, I think I can do a better job, and I hope I have since then. But I was joking with someone. They need to make it a prerequisite that everyone be a patient while they're in nursing school, and maybe not even a real patient, but just like they do like a sim lab for 24 hours where you're in a bed and someone's taking care of you, and you're given a diagnosis, and you have to follow that and see what it's like to be like confined and constrained like that. And I encourage you, whenever you guys have family or friends, or you don't want them in the hospital, when they are, you guys should go check it out and see what it's like and try to understand things from their side. And when you go to, because invariably it's not when or if, but when, probably everyone will go to the hospital at some point in their life, preferably later rather than sooner. Go into it with like a learning mind and see if it can help you do your job better, rather than be scared. I mean, you can be scared too, I was scared. But having that, looking at it as like a learning experience rather than a fear experience made it a lot better for me. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.